Hello and welcome back to Nerd Doc. The Batman is finally here, and we're going to be talking about the plot, the ending, and the post-credits scene, or whatever you want to call it. There will be spoilers for the Batman, but if you do not wish to be spoiled, you can check out our spoiler-free review linked below. If you are looking for more spoilers for the Batman, you will also find our other Batman coverage linked below, including our Batman sequel video covering what we expect from the next film in the franchise. We also have a video covering some of the riddles in the Batman so you can test your knowledge against Batman's. We can't show you actual footage from the movie because Warner Brothers wouldn't like that, and the movie is still in theaters, so please bear with us on that front. Also, just to get this out of the way now, there isn't a real post-credit scene at the end of the Batman. It's just a little Riddler tease. There are chapter timestamps below if you'd like to jump straight to that part of the video. If you have any questions, leave a comment and we'll try to answer them as best we can. The Batman is set in the second year of Bruce Wayne donning the cape and cowl. Thomas and Martha Wayne, his parents, have been dead for 20 years. The Joker is already locked up in Arkham Asylum. Batman already has a close relationship with Officer Gordon, and Bruce Wayne is starting to get the hang of being Batman. He's still a little rough around the edges, but for the most part, he's Batman as soon as the movie begins, which just so happens to be on Halloween. The general plot of the movie is that Riddler is trying to shed light on the truth behind what's going on in Gotham. He's killing important people and leaving clues addressed to the Batman. These clues lead Batman to a specific individual who Riddler wants to draw out so he can personally gun him down. He already knows that he can't get to this person by himself, so he leads Batman right to him because he knows Batman will draw him out and unknowingly give Riddler a chance to kill him. Riddler views Batman as an ally during most of the film. The first Riddler victim is Mayor Don Mitchell Jr. Riddler sneaks into his house and clubs him in the back of the head with a carpet-tucking tool, then continues to pummel him and eventually cuts off his thumb. Riddler leaves a riddle for Batman that leads him to discover that the happily married mayor was seeing a girl on the side. This girl was the roommate of Selina Kyle, who happens to work at the Iceberg Lounge, which is run by the Penguin, or Oz as they mainly call him in the movie. Shortly after the mayor is murdered, Batman and Gordon find a USB thumb drive in one of his cars. The drive is attached to the mayor's severed thumb. Get it? Thumb drive? Anyway, the drive contains photos of the mayor leaving the Iceberg Lounge with his side chick. After Gordon views the contents of the drive, it automatically emails the photos to a variety of media outlets, publicly exposing the mayor. Batman tracks down Selina Kyle at the Iceberg Lounge, follows her home, and confronts her after she changes into her Catwoman Year 2 outfit and tries to break into Carmine Falcone's place. She was looking for her friend's passport because Carmine took it to make sure she didn't skip town. When Batman and Catwoman get back to her apartment, it's been trashed and her friend is missing. Batman and Catwoman decide to work together, and Batman gives her contact lens cameras. She goes back to work at the 44 Below Club, the seedy underbelly of the Iceberg Lounge. A bunch of corrupt cops and people of importance are down there, and Batman is using the feed from the contact lens camera to identify all these people. She runs into the district attorney, who's been doing drugs, and easily spills a ton of information. When the DA leaves, the Riddler is waiting for him in the DA's car and knocks him out. Fast forward to the funeral for the mayor. Bruce Wayne is in attendance with Carmine, Penguin, and many other people. A car crashes through the church with the DA inside, a bomb collar around his neck, and a cell phone duct taped to his hand. Batman confronts him while the police wait outside, and the Riddler calls the phone. Riddler gives the DA and Batman 3 riddles. If Batman gets them right, Riddler won't blow the DA's head off. Batman gets the first 2 right with ease, which reveals that the DA is being paid off by an unknown person. The third riddle requires the DA to spill the beans on who's paying him off, but he won't rat them out and the bomb explodes. Don't worry, Batman is Batman, he doesn't die in the explosion. It should also be noted that while lots of people shoot at Batman throughout the movie, not a single person shoots at his head. Anyway, Batman is knocked out from the explosion and taken to police headquarters. No one takes off his mask because reasons, and Gordon allows him to escape. Eventually, the police commissioner, who's not Gordon yet, is killed by Riddler injecting him with arsenic, and Batman figures out that the Riddler's next victim is none other than Bruce Wayne. Riddler mailed a package to Wayne Manor, but Alfred is the one who opens it. Luckily, he throws the package just before it blows up, but it still lands Alfred in the hospital. As the movie starts to come to an end, through Riddler's clues, eventually Bruce Wayne learns that his father may not have been as good as he once thought. Thomas Wayne set up a $1 billion fund known as the Renewal Fund that was supposed to help those less fortunate. This was right around the time he was running for mayor. Unfortunately, a reporter found out that Martha Wayne, Bruce's mom, had a nasty history with mental illness and even covering up a murder. The movie didn't go into a lot of detail on this, but it wasn't a good look. Bruce visits Carmine Falcone as himself, not Batman, who ends up telling him that he was the one who killed the reporter for Thomas Wayne, which makes Bruce think his dad was a bad man, and that Salvatore Maroni was the one who had his father killed on that fateful night. Bruce then visits Alfred at the hospital, who tells him that his dad never wanted Carmine to kill kill the reporter, and he only went to Carmine because he was trying to protect his wife and family. Alfred then tells Bruce that it was actually Carmine Falcone that had Tom killed. He's going to confess everything to the police since he felt so bad about the reporter dying. Batman pays another visit to Carmine Falcone at the Iceberg Lounge, but Catwoman got there first. A little earlier in the film, Catwoman had confessed to Batman that Carmine was her father. Selina Kyle's mother worked at the club and hooked up with Carmine, but even after her mother was killed by Carmine himself, he wouldn't recognize her as his daughter. Catwoman tries to gun down Carmine, but Batman interferes and walks him outside alongside Officer Gordon. This is the opportunity Riddler needed to shoot Carmine Falcone dead. It turns out Riddler has been staying in an apartment right across the Iceberg Lounge. Riddler knew that he couldn't draw Carmine out to him, knowing he would find out the truth about Thomas Wayne and go after Carmine at the club. To break it down even further, Riddler was extremely intelligent. Growing up as an orphan, Riddler resented Bruce Wayne because he also called himself an orphan. He was rich, so he didn't have to put up with the hardships that Riddler went through to uncover all of the corruption in Gotham. After Thomas Wayne died, Carmine gained control of the city. Falcone paid off the mayor, the DA, and a number of police officers, allowing him to control where the money from the renewal fund would go. He ended up fueling it into his own pockets as well as the pockets of the corrupt politicians and criminal underground. In addition to hating Bruce for being rich, Riddler also felt Bruce Wayne needed to pay for the sins his father made by working with Carmine Falcone. Riddler also loved puzzles as a child and used his combined knowledge to one by one lead Batman through the corrupt web that surrounded Gotham. Once again, he had the intelligence but not the muscle to bring out Carmine Falcone. That's when he needed all of these clues and left notes for Batman at each crime scene. Carmine, Batman, and the police raid his apartment and Riddler goes to Arkham. He asks for a visit from Batman where he gives him one final clue. This sends him back to the Riddler's apartment where he uncovers what's basically a Twitch or YouTube page where Riddler has been making videos for his 507 followers. These are all people who share his ideals of uncovering the corrupt Gotham by any means necessary. Before Riddler was locked up, he set a number of explosives in trucks along the water wall surrounding Gotham.